Yeah! Welcome to Three Conservative Gimps. We've got a great show for you today. We've got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about that shooting at the mall in Greenwood, Indiana, where a good Samaritan, a good guy with a gun, stopped the carnage from getting worse than it could have been. So, we're also going to talk about hey, the president has COVID. Imagine that. And we'll talk about our vice president and her word salad. We'll talk about that and a whole bunch of crazy political stuff going on in this country. So, let's get the show going. Let's bring in my co host all the way from Muskogee, Oklahoma. It's the diminutive Lloyd Mendenhall. Ever chipper Lloyd.
Yeah. I tell you what, can't you see the excitement in my face today? Oh my God. Yeah, I've had about 3 bad nights of sleep, and with the my medicines are out of whack because the doctors didn't get them filled like they should have, and you know we have a thing here. Whenever you get any sort of pain control medicine, like I take a tramadol a couple times a day to control pain and stuff, and they're like, I mean, for years they weren't even considered an opioid, but now they're considered one. And you got to go through every time you fill it out. You got to go through and say, no, I haven't been in an argument. No, I don't want to, you know, scream from the Eiffel Tower, buck naked and ranting, So I was, stuff like that. They don't want you going off the deep end, but that's fine. But when you talk to the nurse and then they send the wrong medicine. It's one I needed refilled later, but I just gotten it refilled about a week ago, and it's like what And then of course I'm using a civilian doctor and a VA doctor, and so they both have. And they can tell when you've taken an aspirin. It's listed in the register. That. But anyway, so I just haven't rested well, and the heat has been so excessive here. Other than I think day before yesterday, we had a pretty decent day, and good. So I'm not at the top of my game. I could easily just sit here and let you take the show, and I'll just wake me up every so often, remind me to say something.
Thank God they didn't give you that lesbian medication called tricoxagan.
Yeah. No, I don't need that stuff. Yeah. But hey, in today's climate, that might be politically correct. Yeah. I don't know. So, and our puppy he's hit his teenage years now, and he's learned to get off the bed on his own, and so at nighttime, instead of when children chew on their hands and stuff, they put these little mittens and socks on. Well, Judy and I now at bedtime are wearing old socks because
holy crap.
Yeah, a little and I'm at that point now where it just takes at least a little bit of something to him and I got into a wrestling match this a couple of times. Those little nails are just like razors, and it's his toenails that do it more than anything else. And occasionally he's been learning the word no very, very distinctly. He's finally settling down, but yeah. Good. So we just took some old socks. I cut the toe off of them, and then cut a slice. And I was wearing like a fingerless glove, and it protects my arm. But because it's this arm with me and Judy, because our two arms, he lays in between the two of us, and sometimes that's a rather rude awakening. He got bumped last night. I was about half asleep. I just gotten really good asleep, and he decided to get up and play, and anyway.
Right.
Life of raising a small dog, a puppy. So he's learning,
That's good. That's good. I wish I could have a dog or a cat, but I live by myself in an apartment. It's just not
Yeah.
really conducive to
Right.
owning a pet. Yeah.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's hit this ground or hit this. Well, let's get this going. So
Yeah.
we had a shooting. When was it? Last weekend or just recently?
I just vaguely heard about it because it wasn't
Yeah,
really. I mean, it wasn't big in the news because
a good guy with a
a
gun.
good guy with a gun did the right thing and took out the
Yep,
bad guy, and
yep.
that's good press. They don't want to
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. Now, if
Oh,
he was a
but the gals on the View had a different opinion.
well,
They thought it was
yeah,
a stupid idea. Well, he could have hurt more people. And you got to be a really good shot to move
yeah,
shoot a moving target.
that's
But
what real gun control is being able to hit
mhm,
your target without hitting others.
yep. Hmm.
So
So
yeah,
I don't recall how many people were killed. Just one person.
I think just one person was killed. I think
Yeah.
uh,
I mean, it could have been worse. It could have
it
been
could have been a
like
lot worse. Yeah,
yeah. So
you know,
uh,
it's and it doesn't matter. I mean, they could they could they could have the Pope out there, you know, taking down bad guys, shooting Nazis, and they'd say, he was an out of control, power hungry Pope or something like that,
yeah.
instead of saying, this guy's, getting rid of. There's never going to be anything that fits their narrative when it comes to guns,
Yep. Hmm.
you know. So personally, I think they should go over and join that lady from the NW, uh, in
And
WNBA. I think, yeah, WNBA. They need to go over. She needs to go
oh
over to
yes,
Russia
go
and
to Russia.
let the View
Hmm.
go join those people. I mean, that's
Yep.
see if they get by
Hmm.
with half the crap that they get by with here in the States. And of course, it's freedom of speech.
Yep.
They're entitled to their opinions. It's even if it's the wrong one, they're entitled to it.
Hmm. Yep. Yep. And oh, Mike B. Hello, Mike. Good to see you.
Yeah. Hey,
Uh,
Mike.
so the
Yeah.
guy has a concealed carry permit, and
Hmm.
but just about every mall has a sign that says "We're a gun-free zone." And luckily, this guy said, "Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because I'm sitting there thinking it's been a long time since I've been over to our mall. But the last time I went over there to do anything was I went to when the theater was still open there because that theater is now closed down. But after they just got through renovating it, then they closed it down.
oh,
Tax write off, you know. But anyways, when I went to the theater, I took my gun in, you know,
mm-hmm,
because we know that they like to they like to hit theaters and malls,
yeah."
and
Well, we know about it here in Colorado because we had that
yeah,
Aurora Theater shooter.
right,
That
exactly,
we just had the anniversary of that.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and our mall, that's what actually killed out our mall. We had a young man go in there and open fire, and he shot. He killed one. He killed one and wounded 6 or 7 people. And he was the one that died was the one he was intending to shoot, but he was there with his little gang members and trying to, I guess, make his mark, and so he just shot the crowd up. And one of the guys that got shot was an off-duty police officer, and uh, they ended up getting him. And of course, he went to, he's in prison, and that's where he belongs,
Oh,
But they
he
got him.
wasn't DRT
DRT.
dead right
Why?
there.
Dead right there. No, he wasn't because yeah, he it would have been nice, it would have saved. I mean,
Yeah.
when you think
We
about it,
call those taxpayer relief.
yeah, taxpayer relief, exactly. That's right,
Mm-hmm.
And I talked about this gun control and stuff. Our problem is not the lack of gun control, but it's the lack of enforcement of the
Mm-hmm.
current laws. We
Yep.
talked about and with our society right now, these young people they have no problem going into a crowd and shooting people up. I mean, we had
Mm-hmm.
one 4th of July weekend here in a small town as a black community, and uh, one person got killed, and she was an innocent bystander. She just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they went into this small town and shot it up. And these guys don't care.
Nope.
This young generation has no, not all of them, but it seems like they're getting to be more and more of them. The
Mm-hmm.
the Ritalin crowd, the ones that
Yep.
were, raised on Ritalin. I mean, you know, we were called hyperactive, or in my case, I wasn't hyperactive. I didn't have some alphabet after my name. I just didn't meet my full potential. Is what I
Yep.
think every report card I ever got. I just
Mm-hmm.
didn't meet, and because I knew the stuff when I wanted to do it. I just didn't care. I was bored.
Yep.
So, uh, and but now they got people like me would be on Ritalin or some other mind
Mm-hmm.
altering drug. And look at how that's another thing. Look at how much the crime rate has risen since marijuana has become legalized
Yep. Right.
across the nation.
Well,
You know,
you would think it would go down because now we've taken the black market out of it, and so that would lessen. You would think it would lessen gang violence because they're not fighting over marijuana, but
yeah,
now
and
they're fighting over uh, what is it? Oh God, I forgot this. Meth. Yeah, they're fighting
meth,
over
yeah,
meth and heroin now. So
yeah, and
here in
fentanyl and stuff
Colorado,
like.
on the ballot this fall is magic mushrooms. They're going to legal. They're trying to legalize that. Ooh, yeah, that.
That's going to help a lot of. Yeah, that's going to.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think if you look at the statistics and see how because the marijuana that they're selling out of these pharmacies is pharmaceutical grade marijuana. It's not the Maui Wowie or Acapulco Gold that we had back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s. It's not that stuff. This is a whole different, and
Yeah, much
anybody
more
and
potent.
everybody, yeah, and anybody and everybody can grow pot in their backyard now and get by with it, and
Mm-hmm.
and it's obviously it has a detrimental effect, and it's the breaking down to society because we
Mm-hmm.
get all these people that are you know we got it's I don't know like uh who is it? Mason said gun control is hitting your target, and that's what I said earlier.
Yep.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
but I have a cousin. She's a teacher, and she has her concealed carry, but she says some of these teachers I wouldn't want them to have guns.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want them to have guns because they're not in control themselves.
Yep. They'll
So
either shoot each other or the kids that piss them off. You know.
yeah, and there's a few that probably that's what she said. That's the reason she wouldn't want to carry a gun either because she she finished out her obligation to the school district she was with and is now going into a private school district, which is a Christian
Cool.
academy. That's actually where she graduated high school from. So uh, she's getting out of the public school sector because where she was at, she said those kids, and she teaches the advanced students, advanced
Oh,
science
right.
students and math students.
Yep.
And she says even then, those are the only classes she likes to teach. But the average science and you know, the average kid could care less if they were there or not. They were there because they were told to be there. They didn't want to
Mm-hmm.
be there.
Yep.
and they have no respect for society anymore. And that's what's
Mm-hmm.
really going on, is a breakdown of our society is what's causing these. We got idiots like that DA out in L.A. that is up for recall because he won't enforce the law.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I've ranted about gun control and breakdown society. Let's move on to something new.
Oh, all right. Well, it looks like our president finally caught it. He's got the COVID. So I
Oh,
thought he was supposed to eradicate. He was always, when he was running for president, I'm going to eradicate COVID.
eradicate. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah. It's
And that's the last person we want catching it because he's already addled minded and he's going, oh, God.
yeah. It's
And he's
you know,
going
and
around shaking hands with
well,
imaginary
yeah,
people.
imaginary
What's
people.
up
Well,
with
and
that?
here's the thing. When Trump got it, you notice it just shows you the hatred of the left. They're all hoping him and Melania
Pence?
died from it. Yeah,
Yep.
it hopefully it'll take him out. We don't have to worry about him. And but now it's like, oh my God, it's terrible. The president has
Yeah.
COVID. Like, oh my, and then they can't think of anything better to say, so they get ticked off because the doctor sent a letter rather than come out and talk to the press. What are they going to say? He's got a cough. He's got a snotty nose. Uh, we're
Mm-hmm.
changing his diaper on a regular basis. Giving him some
Mm-hmm.
baby Advil and some baby Tylenol, and he's going to be fine. What else?
Mm-hmm.
Blah. But no, he sent a letter saying, he's going to be fine. But that wasn't good enough because any real news was unimportant that day because the president has COVID. And it is bad when the president has something that has been so deadly. But,
Yeah.
at his age, hell, a damn head cold could kill him,
Right. Well, you know what? In COVID,
or a
in the
bicycle.
last 2 years, it's has evolved to where now it's nothing more than, you know, like the flu, a mild flu now. And
Yeah.
it's like the media is just, it's just, they're just going on and with this COVID, like, oh God, this is so deadly. Even when it was at its dangerous, it was less than one. It was 1% or less than 1% that died from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I mean,
they made
it,
they made it sound like it was the plague of the bubonic plague of the Dark Ages. That people
and,
were
it
dying in
was
the streets.
yeah, and that's what they tried to make it sound like. And because it was an election year and they needed that. And granted, I think the Delta variant was probably the worst.
Mhm.
Uh, but as far as being the deadliest, because I have some firsthand knowledge of that with a friend of mine, his wife, is perfectly healthy, working, and then all of a sudden,
Mhm.
within a week, she's dead. In a conversation, no
Yep.
underlying medical factors, just she was
Yep.
59 years old, but I look at like you and I both like to watch movies and stuff. I look at the IMDb International Movie Database and I see a movie I watch like, oh, what happened to that guy? I look at it, well, he was 59 years old and died of a heart attack, or he was 49 years old and had cancer. People just are, if it's your time, it's your time, and I don't think
Yep.
any statistics or any shots are going to change that. When it's your time,
Mhm.
it's your time, and there's not much you can do about it. I'm at that age now. I start looking and seeing people die on it. Holy crap! That guy's younger than me. I could go to sleep. I could go to sleep and not wake up. I
Yep.
mean, it's a reality of life when you get to a certain age. You know,
Yep. Yeah, and when
so
you get older and you wake up the next morning, you're like going, "Holy shit! I made it through another day."
there
Yeah,
are
I'm
mornings.
still.
It's like, oh my god, I woke up! Yay! But yeah,
Yep.
and Mickey McGage. If I don't get tested, I'll never test it. they never test positive. And you're right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Judy actually never did test positive, although she had the symptoms. And I did test positive for it earlier this year. But you know, I just waited the time period out, and I never did. I retested once, but you know, to see your doctor, they want one of these electronic tests that you have to either go stand in line and get it printed out. You can't just get those home tests that they give away. You know, doctors don't want to accept those home tests. You know, you can take a photo of it, but it doesn't matter. They don't want. Uh, uh, so I just wait out the lady test out her. See if her rolling pin still fits my head regularly. Yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm. Oh,
it's bad that the president has it, but hell, the damn flu is just as deadly to him as it is anything else. You
yeah.
know, pneumonia.
Even the common cold could
Common cold
possibly take him
could
out.
possibly hurt him. Yeah, at his
I mean,
age, you know.
Yep. And
And
he's also had, he's had brain aneurysm, so he's,
yeah,
got that, you know.
yeah. And of course, he has cancer now too. That was the big news before the COVID. He got cancer one day and COVID the next. It's just amazing. And he got cancer from oil. I did not know you could get
Oh,
cancer from oil, but yeah,
right.
apparently, according to him,
Was
he got in Pennsylvania. Yeah, or in wherever the hell he's from, not Pennsylvania, but
Delaware?
yeah, Delaware oil fields gave him cancer, and
Oh
he
yeah,
has cancer
the
now.
oil wells in Delaware. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He everybody he knows from that part of the country now has cancer, including himself. Yeah, you didn't hear that in the news?
No, I did not know
Oh
that.
yeah, yeah. He said he had cancer. Of course, they had to backpedal and say, "Well, he has had skin cancer in the past." Well,
Oh, okay.
but no, he said I have cancer, as in currently.
Oh boy.
And the next day, he tested positive for COVID. So he might have just got him confused. You know, cancer, COVID. You know, they both start with a
Well,
C. You know,
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
but no, and he got it. He got it from the oil that was from the oil refineries and the oil wells there in Delaware. Everybody
Oh,
he
okay.
knows has it from the oil. You know,
Yeah, but didn't
it
he grow up in Scranton, Pennsylvania?
well maybe wherever it was. That was the
Yeah.
problem. His story was all over the place, but he used present tense that he has cancer. And of course,
Ah.
oh my God, yeah, that was. Of course, that's why they released that he had COVID the next day, simply because they had to get rid of the cancer story because he stuck his foot way into his mouth,
Oh
and
yeah.
so they had to hide that one because you know, yeah,
Mm.
that was in the news until the next day, which he had COVID. Amazing the release, and that's been talked about too. How can they suddenly release that he has COVID now? And
Yeah.
of course, it's good. He's eating his meals regular, like
Yeah. His
okay.
pudding and his
Yeah,
oatmeal.
his
Yep.
oatmeal and his pudding. Yeah,
And his
yeah,
little Gerber baby formula and
yeah, yeah. And they probably
his
got him on Pedialyte.
string
So
peas.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, it's just like I said. This guy, I heard that, and I'm going. I heard this speech, and it was just like, really? Are you kidding me? You know. But yeah, he's the. I live in Oklahoma, and we have no higher. We have no higher cancer rate in Oklahoma, which is full of oil fields and refineries,
Yeah.
than any other. Where on average we're about the
Mm-hmm.
same. You know, we've had a few more earthquakes than normal for a place in the central United States, but
Mm-hmm.
they figured out what that is, and they've worked around that and found a way to stop that. It has to do with the oil fields, but
Mm-hmm.
uh, yeah, this guy is just
Oh boy.
he's a blithering idiot.
Yeah.
Even me with with it 3 crappy
Half of
nights of
your
sleep.
brain tied behind
Yeah,
your
tied
back.
behind my back. Yeah, half my brain tied behind my back.
Yeah,
Exactly.
as
Yeah,
Rush would say.
it's yeah, and hashtag free topic for everybody.
Yeah.
Boy, yeah, and So yeah, he that was one of his flubs this last week. And of course, literally the next day, they announced he had COVID
Mm.
because the cancer thing was getting way too much traction, so they had to flip it around like, oh my God, he's in mortal danger now. He has COVID. You know,
Ugh. Well, how about our VP and her constant word salad? It's like,
what
who
has she
is
said that?
writing her speeches?
Well, and
Oh,
that is the question now because she's been losing her speechwriters because several of her top speechwriters have quit. And I think it's because
right.
she doesn't ever read the speeches. She looks at she looks at them as suggestions and memos, not as actual things she needs to say. Oh, the economy is in the crapper.
And,
Okay. Well, today the government has just released 300 million rolls of toilet paper.
mm.
The economy's in the crapper, so that's what she gets from it.
Well, her
Yeah,
latest was July 14th. Ripped over her latest word salad. It's like it's just amazing. I gotta read the transcript where she said, and this is it just I gotta find the text.
yeah.
Oh yeah, her oh boy, it just
Yeah. Well, while you're looking for that, yeah, that's Pepper. That's not the Chihuahua. That's her
oh
Pomeranian. And
okay.
Judy thought it would be a wonderful. Judy thought it would be a wonderful idea to put the to make sure that our mantle clock chimes were working again. So every 15 minutes, the mantle clock goes off.
Oh,
And it's got the Westminster chimes on it. So
oh well, my dad made a terry clock, the mantle clock. It
right,
would
right.
go off every half hour. You know,
Well, this one
but
does every quarter hour. And of course it progresses through the chime until it gets to the full hour. So so every
yep,
15 minutes.
yep. And every half
Yeah,
hour you get a ding. And then
yeah,
at
yeah.
every hour, if it's like 12, at 12 o'clock, it would
12
ding
o'clock out
12
all
times.
12
Yep,
times. Yeah.
yep,
Hey,
yeah.
can you see if you can find that? I need to go in and check on Judy real quick. Okay.
Okay,
And I'll
sure.
be right back, guys.
Alrighty. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, please stand by while Lloyd takes care of that. Uh, Man, it's just amazing the stuff that our vice president it, it's just a jumbled mess. I mean, what she should be doing is, you know, prepping her speech beforehand and say, you got too many, you know, words that are the same. It's just a jumble of words, and I think what's happening. I think their speechwriters are like going, screw it, let's just throw something in the hopper and mix it up, and hopefully it's legible. And we'll put it up there, and she'll just read it, and just man, and I mean, you look at every Democrat since Johnson. I mean, Johnson had the Vietnam War. He had the the Beagle scandal where he picked up the dog by the ears, and Lloyd's got a squirrel moment there, and can't hear you.
Oh, hit the button by accident. Yeah, when I was switching my camera, I hit the squirrel button instead. But
yep.
Anyways,
so we were talking about. Well, I was talking about scandals that Democrats have had since Johnson, and I mean even you could. Nixon, of course, had scandals. He had Watergate, and then Ronald Reagan had Iran Contra. That, that was more of a minor thing. They were trying to blow it up to be like the next Watergate, and and of course George W. Bush had what was the one where they were hazing the prisoners.
Oh, waterboarding.
Abu Ghraib. Yeah. Waterboarding and making them wear collars with leashes and stuff like that.
Yeah, was that
that was in Iraq.
Okay, that was George W. Not George H.W.
Not
George W.
H.W. He really didn't have it. Well, about the only scandal he had, but that was really a non-scandal, was the potato incident with
Dan Quayle. Yeah, that was
Quayle.
But his only downfall was read my lips, no new taxes, and then gives me taxes.
That's true.
Yeah, there's been. I was listening to something the other day. They were talking about a bunch of the scandals. Well, they just had what's his name just was found in contempt of court, found guilty.
Oh, Steve Bannon.
Steve Bannon, and that's one of those that I never understood Steve Bannon's position in a lot of that, because he had left the White House, and I think he left it under less than perfect circumstances when he, anyways. And then I thought he'd come out and he had testified about some things, but now he doesn't want to testify because he's got executive privilege, or that's what he's claiming. And at the most, I think he'll get he could get maybe a year in jail. I mean, the last time anything like this happened was under Nixon.
Fine.
$1,000 fine.
Yeah.
And
it was over the January 6th monkey trial.
Over the
circus.
Circus, exactly. And and the rest of those that they've got as far as the contempt of court cases they got, they're probably not going to pursue anymore because they're running out of time. These congressmen can't keep sitting around spending all their time at these hearings.
Yeah, they got to go out and campaign.
They got to get out and campaign, and it's time for them to roll up their shirt sleeves and start doing some work for a change. They've got to show something, because right now the polls are still pretty one-sided, that it looks like we're going to sweep at least the House. And the new straw poll that just came out, the GOP straw poll that just came out yesterday or today, shows that if Trump runs, he'll get the nomination. 74%. Well, that's the newest poll today. He has a 74% chance of getting the Republican nomination. Not that he'll win.
I don't know.
Well, I think it was DeSantis, and maybe it was, it was Cruz, said this week. He says, we don't know who all's going to be throwing their hat in the ring. He says it's going to depend on what Trump decides to do. He says that's what they're waiting on. If Trump decides to run, he says there's not going to be many people running. And I think what we're looking at is probably, and as far as Pence goes, nobody, because of what he did in the impeachment in January 6th, there's a lot of people that are not going to support him for the nomination. DeSantis is still running at only about 22% to Trump's 70 some odd percent right now. So if Trump runs, he'll probably get the nomination. And I think what we'll see is a DeSantis or Cruz is a vice president on the ticket. If we see that,
it's Santis.
DeSantis, DeSantis, whatever. Yeah, whatever. It's one of them Latino X names I don't understand. Give it an I and O. It doesn't matter.
I think Santis is probably Greek.
Whatever. Yep. But it says De, which is Hispanic. The pronunciation of it, DeSantis, is a. Let me look because I see how it's spelled because it may be Greek, but let's see.
Yeah, because Spanish names don't usually end in IS. Maybe EZ.
No, Spanish names end in IS. Yeah.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, it's DE Santis. Yeah, DeSantis. That's Hispanic. Because DE is from it means of. That's
right.
Of Santis, of the island of Santis or the city of Santis. Okay.
Yeah. I stand corrected. Okay.
That is one of the languages I actually learned.
Oh, well, yeah.
It's Latin based, plus it's Latin based.
Yeah. Well, I took French in high school, so.
Yeah, well, you should have been able to figure it out then. They're not that far apart. They're both Romance languages, both Latin based languages.
Right.
But yeah.
So with if Trump gets a nominee, the Democrats, I mean, what are they going to pin on him this time? Are they going to bring out Russian collusion again?
Well, and that's the problem. See, this is the thing. This is probably what worries him because right now they're shooting. They're spending all their time right now still fighting Trump, who's been out of office now for 2 years or a year and a half. They're wasting their ammo. And they haven't proven anything. And the more they do before he announces, the less ammunition they have to shoot at him with when the time comes, because they'll have already disproved everything themselves, just by their kangaroo court hearings. And I think that's I think that's where, and that's why he's not going to say anything until after to see what the
primaries.
Well, not the primaries. I think he's going to wait until after the November elections before he really announces anything.
Oh yes,
serious.
Yeah.
See what it does. See, because I saw something the other day that said that no matter what he does, he's still going to be he's the predominant leader of the Republican Party right now. He has, he's had a couple of them that didn't get through, but those were states that were kind of iffy anyways, like Georgia that should have gone to him didn't, and then the governor. So,
oh, and
you're going
also
to fix the election again.
He's got to worry about Jared Polis, because we pretty much know that Biden's not going to be the nominee. He may not even finish his term.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about now, is him not finishing his term.
He may be either impeached or they'll invoke the 25th Amendment. They'll deal with Harris for 2 years.
2 years, yeah.
Watch her just really screw things up. And then she's not going to be the nominee, even if she finishes out. I think it's going to be Jared Polis. I mean, he acts like he's a moderate here in Colorado, but he's been nothing but he's, a radical. I mean, he pretty much killed off the oil and gas industry here in Colorado. He's
Right.
driving the ag businesses into the ground, with his appointments to the ag board that were because that person was part of PETA and a vegan. So
Right. Well, I was just looking at this. Which Democrats do you think is the most difficult to defeat for president in 2024? And this is let's see. I don't know who did this poll, but it's kind of uh the Trafalgar. I can never say that name. Trafalgar. Yeah.
Trafalgar.
And right now, they've got Gavin Newsom at 33%.
Yeah.
Michelle Obama at 13 is the second one. Hillary Clinton at 10. Bernie Sanders at 10. Kamala Harris at 9. And then you have AOC at 5.9. Joe Biden 4.4. Pete Booty Boy.
Buttigieg.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah,
Booty
Pete.
Boy. Little Petey is at 3.6. Toulouse Gabbard is 1%. Stacey Abrams 0.5. Roy Cooper. Jared Paulus is at 0.3.
Yeah.
So he may be big in Colorado, but nationally, he ain't squat.
Well, he was a pretty popular congressman in D.C. And
but then again,
he ran as a moderate.
Yeah. Right. But right now, the Trafalgar group is showing that he's way down the list. They're talking.
Yeah.
Right. And this is early days, though.
In the next year or so.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're looking at.
Mm-hmm. And he also, I just saw a thing on Facebook where I think it was one of the local papers saying, "Oh no, I'm not running for president. I'm not going." He's so full of shit. He wants to be president. He wants to be the first gay president.
Yeah.
Then you can have RuPaul sing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President."
Oh my God.
Can you imagine that?
Unfortunately, I could see that happening anyways. Mm-hmm. It's just what surprised me was that the number 2, which is is only at 13.6% right now, but Michelle Obama, there's something right there that I see as being, but and there again, is Michelle Obama going to run it as the first black woman presidential nominee, or the first black transgender nominee?
Mm-hmm.
Or is she going to change her name to he and become Michael Obama? And that way, first transgender male. There's also they could play that card. I mean, you talk about they got the gender ID, the race card, I mean, there's all sorts of cards they could play on that.
Well, you know what you call a red-headed tranny, don't you?
What?
Ginger with nuts.
Oh my God! Yeah, I should have seen that one. Yeah. Yeah, please don't let the alphabet people get in the White House. That's it, and that's a real thing. I mean, there's nothing left for straight fat old white guys anymore. I mean, we don't have a day, we don't have a month, we don't have a year. We even a friggin' monkey gets a damn year now.
Yeah.
It's the year of the monkey or the year of the I mean,
that's right. The Chinese, is that what this year is? The year of the monkey?
I don't know. I don't know. It comes around every so often. So I know it's. I don't even know what the year is because and that's the thing. They go around the year of the woman, the year of the monkey, the year of the. in Michelle Obama's case, we could maybe have both, a year of the woman, a year of the monkey together.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
was probably not the way I should have said that, but
Yeah, well.
you know. Anyways, but I thought that newest poll to come out today was really that straw. It was the GOP straw poll that came out, and
Okay.
they have Trump in the
Trump way up
in,
there.
way
Yeah.
up there. Yeah, 70%.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if he wins, I mean, I sure hope he doesn't.
That's for the GOP nomination. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean. And one thing, of course, you live in Colorado, and I live in a more southern state,
Mm-hmm.
and there's still a lot of support for Donald Trump. There's a lot more there
Yep.
than what the news wants. That's why they're tearing him down. That's why they've got from now until January 1st or January 20th of this next year to destroy Trump legally in order to keep him from running. And that's the reason
Right.
they're doing this January 6th hearing. They don't want him to be able to legally run. If he's convicted of a felony, he can't run.
That's right.
You know.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
But
that's going to be hard to prove because you got the video where he says, "Do it peacefully."
yeah, even AOC has said that they didn't
Yeah,
do a good
and
job.
she's saying this whole,
Yeah,
whole thing is a sham.
yeah,
Because,
and because
they're
I think I brought that up
protecting
on
the
my show on
police.
Monday. Yeah, I brought that up.
Mhm. Yep.
And but yeah, I saw that last week, and they're protecting the police, and I mean it just goes to show you. And there's that one guy that they've got that was literally trying to lead, and I can't remember what his name is. They've not brought a charge against him. He was actually on the 5th. He was trying to get them to go over and take over. Start rioting at the at the Capitol.
Right.
And I forgot what his name was now, but
Mm-hmm.
he's not. Everybody knew he was a Fed. And but yet he played it off that he was wearing a mega hat. It's like, oh great, you can find those a dime a dozen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mega hats are still. It's just like you can tell how desperate they are. They've spent more time. I mean, if Trump wasn't a serious contender and the Democrats weren't worried about it,
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be spending this much time on it. They're doing everything they can, and it's not just the Democrats are spending this much time on it, but it's also there are some Republicans and
Yep. And libertarians don't like him very much either.
Yeah, libertarians.
Because here in Denver, you got two talk show hosts, and one is a libertarian, the other one's libertarian-leaning Republican, Mandy
Right.
Connell, and she just goes on and on about this January 6th monkey trial, show trial.
Yeah.
And Ross Kaminsky, he's going on and on about, see, this shows you how unfit Donald Trump is for president, And so,
Yeah. Of course, I listen to more national news than I do my local, because
Yeah.
most of our local news is except for, like our local Fox affiliate, our local
Right.
Fox News affiliate. But even then, I'm sorry. I was watching Judy on this camera, and she saw something on TV, and her look was and I was like, what the hell's going on? Because I'm watching her on a monitor on my other screen over here, and she's watching the TV, which means she's looking straight at the camera that I'm, and she had this look on her face like total surprise, like she didn't see that coming. Like, I'm listening in to see what the hell she was listening to. I thought, oh, okay. Anyway, so that distracted me. But nationally, I think, I mean, obviously, he's not going to get an endorsement from the Bushes,
yeah, or the Cheney.
or the Cheneys, yeah.
Yeah.
And you
By the
know,
way, Liz is probably going to go down in flames in the primary.
yeah, in the primaries, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Last
what I
I
heard.
heard, she's down
She
like
was,
22 points.
yeah, yeah, that's what I heard too. 22,
Yep.
23 points,
And she's
something like
only
that.
got maybe 2 or 3 weeks left till the primary in Wyoming.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say it's in the next couple of weeks or so.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of rhinos gotten rid of.
Oh
Because
yeah, we've already seen several get defeated in
you know,
the previous primaries up to this
and
point.
the national polls are still showing that the the mega movement is still very strong in spite of,
Mm-hmm.
and growing. I think you're seeing now that we're weeding out some of that, and the more silliness the press tries to cover, the more they have these, like this January 6th hearing that they keep showing on primetime and stuff. Well, that's just propaganda and the more people are starting to wake up and see, and and I'm seeing this because we don't have the same problems in Oklahoma that you do in Colorado. We don't have the liberal government that
Yep.
you do. We have a very conservative, you know, which is obvious because we had a trigger law go into effect under the on the abortion. We had when the trigger laws kicked in, and I think it's like at 9 weeks or six
Right.
weeks. After 6 or 9 weeks, I think is what it is. And
Right.
so uh, we don't. We're a lot more conservative, and yeah, we've had a few protests. But when you see it on the news, they try to make it look like a big crowd, and then they pan out, and there's 30 people there that are
Mm-hmm.
pro abortion or anti life, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then you've got 300 that are pro life. So and
Mm-hmm.
it covers all walks of life, So
Yep. Chris has a good point.
yeah,
Anything.
exactly. And
Yep.
I think that's what it is. They're trying so hard to find something to pin on him, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And it's
Yep.
like the saying goes, even a blind squirrel finds a nut every so often, and they may find something that in the most convoluted way could be construed as something they can use. But the
Mm-hmm.
more they do this crap, the more they're confirming that, well, if they don't want him in office, what the hell? Why don't they want him in office? Why are they wasting all their money they spent the last year and a half?
Mm-hmm.
Because one, they have nothing to offer. They have
Mm-hmm. That's
nothing to
true. That's
offer.
true.
So
Mm-hmm.
their only offering is anti-Trump, and those that were anti-Trump in the Republican side are not. You're not hearing much about them anymore. You know.
Uh-huh.
You
Yeah.
know.
Well,
They're
a
kind
lot
of
of them are getting. Well, they're getting primaried, and
they're getting their
like
butts
in
kicked.
Michigan, Fred Upton is not running, and
Right.
King, 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 the other idiot that's on the committee.
Right.
He's
Right.
he's retiring, I believe,
Yeah.
and
There's a lot of them
Cheney,
that are
he's down big time in the polls,
right.
and
And I think whether Trump runs as president or not is irrelevant because as long as he's out there, they're lock focused on him, and he's
mm-hmm,
being and he's raising money for the party. He's raising the awareness of how ridiculous this government is, and as a
mm-hmm,
result, in this the Democrat side or the liberal progressive movement. Uh, yeah, it depends on where you live at, where you have
mm-hmm,
protests or not, you know. But when you and of course the news is going to, the places that have the biggest problem are those liberal governed
yep,
cities,
yep, mm-hmm,
uh, and so I think it's still early days, but I think Trump he just keeps going out there doing what Trump does
mm-hmm,
and playing his part for the Republican Party, and we're doing two things. One, it's bringing the rhinos out You know, we're seeing who they are. We're getting rid of them. And he's
Mm-hmm.
cleaning up. In some ways, he's doing a lot to help us clean out the party.
Yep.
Something that needed to have been done since 2000. You know,
Yep.
uh, I think that's what the problem is we've needed this party, you know, cleaned out since 2000. You know,
Well,
last
and if we do take back the House, I sure as hell hope Kevin McCarthy is not the speaker.
yeah, I don't know who the speaker's
He,
going to be,
yeah,
and there again, I think it's going to have to be a speaker that's got some strong conservative values because that's who we're
right.
electing right now. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the pendulum is it's still ours to lose. You know, it's still ours to lose. You know,
That
right now we're
is
looking
true.
good, but we're not wearing the kid gloves that we were
Yeah.
over the last
Yeah.
10 years, 20 years. You know, this is
But
this
never underestimate how Republicans could screw things up.
yeah,
'Cause
that's
we
true.
are
That's true.
famous for that.
We are famous for it, you know, and but there are some there are some uh there was just a thing I saw the other day. You know, we always talked about how the Democrats have their, you know, beginnings, how to get people running for city council, that, you know, that
Hmm.
training program they have for young
Yeah.
Democrats.
Yeah, emerge.
Yeah. Well, the Republicans have the conservatives, not Republicans, but the conservatives have finally started one too, and it's very successful right now.
Oh, good. Good to hear.
Yeah, it's actually doing a lot to get young people with
Mm-hmm.
conservative values involved, and I just like I said, I heard something about it the other day on the radio, and it's being very successful. So
Oh,
anyway,
wonderful. Wonderful.
anyway,
Oh,
I'll shut up now and let you have your show back.
alrighty. Well, we managed to cover an hour, and I want to thank everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming along. Please tell your friends about the show. Let's try to get this channel growing. I want to get it past 200. You know,
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah,
a good movement. Here we are. We're in an election cycle. Let's get this channel off the ground. You know, I
yeah,
want to be
yeah,
like Red Eagle Politics. I mean, that guy's channel is taking off. But, you know, he does a lot more graphic stuff and he doesn't do a whole lot of live streaming. Here, we're basically a live stream channel.
yeah,
And, you know,
yeah.
and plus I have my other channels that I have to take
Right,
care of.
right.
So, uh,
Yeah.
Lloyd, any last words?
No, other than what I always say, be kind, treat each other better than you treat yourselves. Remember, everybody matters, even straight, fat old white guys like me. God bless and God help the USA.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Uh, see you all next week, and God bless you, and take care. Bye bye.